Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Jai Hind, and welcome to Khan Global Studies. So, I hope I am properly audible and visible to all of you. Good evening, Satish. So, I hope audible and visible to all of you. Good evening. Okay, so good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's current affairs session. Welcome to today's current affairs session. The topics which we are going to discuss in today's session. The first thing, sorry, the first topic which we are going to discuss in today's session is going to be about NTCA, National Tiger Conservation Authority. So this is the first topic which we are going to discuss about. Second topic is going to be with respect to Southern Ocean carbon anomaly. Now this is one very interesting topic with respect to climate change and global warming. Many theories are there with respect to global warming and global climate change. But when we talk about this one article and the observations which has been here, you will find that it is something different. Although not entirely different, but some other factors are also to be counted in. Then we are going to discuss about this one thing, pollution, the lessons from China. We are going to talk about this pollution lessons from China. So there are two topics from environment today. Actually all the three topics from environment today. So these are the three topics, and then we will discuss some special topics for prelims 2026. So from this month itself, we have started this special initiative where we are talking some prelims specific articles in our sessions. So that is one thing which we will continue to do today also. Okay. Now here, this was one question which I have asked from all of you. Okay. This was one question from like last session. A president of India exercises his power as provided under Article 356 of the Constitution in respect of a particular state. Then what will be the impact? So I hope you have given answer for this. Have you given the answer for this question? How many of you have given answer? Because I see that only few answers were there. Around 10 or 11 answers were there with respect to this one topic. So many of you are not giving the answers again. Many of you are not giving the answers again. Here is the question. If the President of India exercises his power provided under Article 356, then what is going to happen? Article 19 is suspended in that state. This is incorrect. The President can make laws. That is incorrect. The Assembly of the state is automatically dissolved. That is also incorrect. Only the B option is correct, that the power of legislature of the state shall be exercisable or by or under the authority of parliament. So that B option is correct here. And then I have asked you to give the name of the most important straits of the Indian Ocean. So certain names were there, like a Strait of Hormuz was there, Bab al Mandeb Strait was there, Malacca Strait was there. So some of you have given some prominent names. So that is also correct. Okay. Now, so let's start with today's question. We are starting with today's question first. How many of the following countries is or are sharing borders with Oman? Yemen, UAE, Qatar and Iran. How many of them are sharing borders with Oman? That is the question. This is question number 1. How many of them are sharing borders with Oman? So what will be the correct answer? Question number 1. What will be the correct answer? How many of them are sharing the borders with Oman? Question number 1, answer B. B answer. B answer and C answer. Good evening, Anjali. Yaman only. Obligations. BS6 vehicles have lower ecological footprint as compared to BS4 vehicles. Nay, Anjali, your comment was not visible to me. If you have written it on the past date, that is Friday session, B option, D option, D option. D option. So if we look at this, India shifted from BS6 to BS4 to BS6 due to international obligation. This statement is wrong. It was basically the Supreme Court direction. It was basically on the basis of Supreme Court direction, not due to international obligations. BS6 vehicles have lower ecological footprint as compared to BS4 vehicles. So this one statement is correct. The shift was not due to international obligation. The shift was due to the Supreme Court's direction. The Supreme Court has directed to shift from BS4 to BS6. So that's why the first option is wrong. The answer here will be option number D. Which of the following statements is are correct? Global Gender Gap Report is published biannually by World Economic Forum. India's rank is poorer than all other South Asian nations. So this is one question with respect to the World Global Gender Gap Report. Free question, D option. D, B, D and B. Okay. So in this case of question number 3, I am going with the answers of Raj Verma and Disha Singh. Okay. So here Global Gender Gap Report is published biannually. This is wrong. It is annually. It is annually published by World Economic Forum. India's rank is poorer than all other South Asian nations. That is also incorrect. So first is incorrect, second is incorrect. The correct answer will be option number D. Okay. So here the answer is option number D, that is Global Gender Gap Report. It is annual publication and India's rank is poorer than all other South Asian nation. That is also incorrect. So here the answer is D option, neither 1 nor 2. Okay. So this is the first part of the question. Now just to give you one part, the Parivartan batch. Okay. So the orientation session of Parivartan batch was their last day and the test is going to start from tomorrow onwards. So those of you who have enrolled in UPSC Prelims Parivartan batch, so your sessions has your test is going to start from 23rd of December. So I think you might have gone through the orientation session. So those who have not joined, you still have time that you can start it from tomorrow onwards. Okay. And at the same time, we have the crash course which is going to start from 12th of January. This is something which is going to start from 12th of January. We will have GS plus CSAT plus coverage of current affairs, and in addition to that we will have test series also in addition to the classes. So last year also, okay, Last year also we have seen that, like we have got the GS plus CSET plus current affairs coverage, and what we see that, like from that session multiple questions have come in the exam. Okay, timetable नहीं मिला है. Have no one got the timetable for this batch? Yes, Disha, please tell. Timetable of Parivartan batch has been uploaded or not? So you have not got the syllabus. Okay. Okay, let me ask the team about it. Okay, let me ask the team about it. I have messaged it right now itself, and either by the end of the class or by tomorrow's session, I will tell you about this. Okay. Now, coming to this one part, let's start with today's topic. Let's start with today's topic. The first topic is with respect to the National Tiger Conservation Authority. So, this is our first topic. When we look at this NTCA, what exactly is this NTCA? It stands for National Tiger Conservation Authority. National Tiger Conservation Authority. Now, when we talk about this, it is a statutory body. It is a statutory body that is under section 38 of Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. It is, okay, lecture 43 economy is not working. Okay, so it is part of the statutory body. It is a statutory body. Now, if we talk about chairperson, that who will be acting as the chairperson here? So here we have the minister in charge of MOEF double C. Okay. That the person who is acting as the Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, he will be acting as the chairperson of this NTCA, National Tiger Conservation Authority. He is the ex officio chairperson. He is the ex officio chairperson of this NTCA. Now, when we talk about the NTCA, what is the role of it? What is the role of the NTCA? What it will do? What is the role of this NTCA? What it is responsible for? This one is responsible for approval. It is responsible for approval of any such proposal for declaration of tiger reserve. Okay, so this is something which approves the proposal. It is something which approves the proposal for notification of a tiger reserve. Notification of a tiger reserve. So this is one special part. The state governments can declare, the state governments have the power to declare a tiger reserve. But when they can declare it, there is a limitation. They can declare it only when it has been approved by the National Tiger Conservation Authority. When it has been approved by National Tiger Conservation Authority, then only they can go for setting up the tiger reserve. In fact, any change in the boundary or denotification of a tiger reserve also requires the permission from this organization. Okay, so what we also see that like any, if we are looking this, if there is any alteration, if there is any alteration or change, there cannot be any such change in the boundary of the tiger reserve or any such change in the tiger reserve. So that is the power of this organization. In fact, you will find that after the National Board for Wildlife, after this National Board for Wildlife, this is the most prominent, this is the most prominent organization with respect to environment in India. So NTCA, that is the role of the NTCA, and plus who is the chairperson and everyone with respect to NTCA. Okay. Tell me one thing, who is the chairperson of the National Board for Wildlife? Who is acting as the chairperson of National Board for Wildlife? Any idea? Who is the chairperson of this National Board for Wildlife? Who is acting as the chairperson of National Board for Wildlife? Prime Minister, yes. The Prime Minister of India acts as the chairperson of the National Board for Wildlife, and the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, they act as the vice chairperson of this organization. Okay. So this is one part. Now coming to the second very important article, Southern Ocean Carbon Anomaly. Now we are coming to this second article, which is quite important, Southern Ocean Carbon Anomaly. Okay. So first tell me one thing. Tell me a few things. Like when we are talking about Southern Ocean, so can you tell me this one thing? Which is the Southern Ocean? Whenever we are talking about the Southern Ocean, can you tell me in general which ocean is being referred to as the Southern Ocean? Which ocean is being referred to as the Southern Ocean? Any idea about this? That which ocean? ये काम तो NBWL करता है. Yes. See this one thing, Arshad. Any change or alteration in the boundary of Tiger Reserve has to be first approved by the NTCA. And after the approval of NTCA, there is a further requirement of approval from NBWL, National Board for Wildlife. So there will be requirement of approval from both the organization, NTCA plus NBWL. In case of national park, only NBWL. Yes, Antarctica. So when we are talking about the oceans around Antarctica, now what is the general perception? Okay, the general perception is this. There is a general perception with respect to climate change. Okay, let me tell you this one thing. There is a general perception. What is the general perception? That global warming, this is something which will lead to melting of ice, and with melting of ice, what will happen that the carbon rich water, CO2 rich water from bottom of oceans, this is something, it will rise. Okay, that it will rise, and this is something which will lead to, this is something which is going to lead to CO2 emissions. it will lead to the CO2 emissions, the carbon dioxide emissions. Okay. So what we see here, that there is a general perception that the global warming, it is going to lead to the melting of ice. Global warming is going to lead to the melting of ice, and the CO2 rich water from the bottom of oceans, it is going to rise, and by rising above, there will be release of this, there is going to be release of, there is going to be the release of carbon dioxide, there is going to be the release of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So it has been said that what we will see in fact, that what we are going to see in fact, that in upcoming times from the southern oceans, more and more carbon dioxide will be rising up, and it will not be acting as a carbon sink. So it was the perception, it was the perception. But what is the reality? Okay, now comes the reality. The reality is this, that the southern oceans, they are acting as a carbon sink. They are still acting as a carbon sink, means they are absorbing carbon, the absorbing CO2 rather releasing it. It was believed that the oceans, which are acting as the sink of the carbon, it will become an emitter. There was a general belief that when the ice is melting in Antarctic, the carbon rich water will come to the surface, there will be emission of the greenhouse gases, and it will amplify the problem of global warming. It is going to amplify the problem of global warming. It was the perception, it was the belief. But in reality, what we see, that in the recent times also, despite this change, global warming and all, there is still the ocean which is acting as a carbon sink. This ocean is still acting as a carbon sink. Now the question is why? Why we have seen this change? The ocean should have now started to emit the gases. There should have been emission of carbon dioxide. But in fact, what we see, that there is like a absorption of carbon dioxide. The question is why this is happening? And the answer is very simple. Okay. The answer is quite simple. The answer lies in a stratification of the oceanic water. Where is the solution? The solution is, or the answer is here. The answer is here, that stratification of the ocean. Stratification of oceans. And how this is stratification? Ice melted. So we see that fresh water at surface. Now this fresh water is lighter, and what we see, that the CO2 rich saline water, this is something which is heavy. So right now the fresh water, it is remains at the top, prevents the leakage, of CO2. But this is the one which is preventing the leakage of the CO2. So it means CO2 has come from inside. CO2 has started to come from the inside, but there is a cover, and that cover is of fresh water. That is a cover due to fresh water. So fresh water is preventing the carbon dioxide from rising up in the air. So that's why the southern ocean, it is still acting as a carbon sink. It is still acting as a carbon sink, not as an emitter of the greenhouse gas or the carbon dioxide. So this is one observation, and this is the answer that why this anomaly is existing, why the Southern Ocean, which in fact should have become a source of carbon dioxide, is still acting as a sink of carbon dioxide. So I hope this part is clear. Any doubt, any confusion in this? Any doubt or confusion in this? I hope this second topic is clear. Okay. So now coming to the next part. The next part is with respect to the lessons from China on pollution. Okay. The next part is with respect to the lessons from China on pollution. एक बार और बता दे देखो there is simple thing. Right now we see that there is global warming. Now there was a belief, there was a perception that due to the global warming, the carbon dioxide rich water from the bottom of the oceans will rise, and when it will come to the surface, there will be release of huge amount of carbon dioxide from the oceans. So oceans will become a source. Oceans will become a source of the carbon. But what we see instead, that in the present times, in the southern ocean, the ice has melted. Due to melting of ice, there is presence of fresh water on the surface of the ocean. This fresh water is lighter and it remains on the top. So the saline water which is coming from the bottom with huge amount of carbon is trapped inside this fresh water. It is something which is trapped inside this fresh water. The fresh water is preventing the leakage of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So this is the one thing which we were talking about in this article. Okay. Now coming to this part, lessons from China on pollution. Okay. So in 2013, China was also having the problem of polluted cities. In 2013 also, China was having the problem of polluted cities. At that time, if we look at this, like in 2013, the PM 2.5 levels, it was 102 microgram per meter cube in 2013. And in 2024, here it has come down, like right now in 2004, the level was 31 microgram per meter cube in 2024. In fact, you will find that this is something which is like 1/3 now. Okay. China has been able to reduce the particulate matter level in its cities by more than 50%. It is in fact, you can see here that it is just around 1/3. It is now just around 1/3 in 2024. Now, when we talk about India, what we see that our pollution level is rising. Our pollution level has been continuously rising, especially in some of the cities of India. In some of the cities of India, it is insanely high. It is insanely quite high in some of the major cities of India, including the Delhi NCR region. Okay. So, what actually is the difference? Because we will have the Hindi medium classes also at 6 p.m. on the second channel, that is KGS IAS Hindi. So there we will have the same thing in Hindi also. Okay. Now the thing is, what was the approach of the China? What was done by China in order to do this? The first part which was done, it expanded the electric mobility. It has shut down or relocated hundreds of polluting industries. It has replaced, it has done this one thing. It has done this one thing, that it has built one of the densest PM 2.5 monitoring network. Okay. And then we also see that it has imposed substantial penalties for non-compliance. That if there is a country which is, sorry, if there is any company or any institution which is not complying with it, then again we see that it has imposed substantial penalties. Now, see this one thing. Almost the same steps has been done by India also. Okay. Almost the same thing is being done by India also. India is also expanding the electric mobility. In Delhi NCR region, you will find that government has come with the electric mobility options. The electric buses are there, CNG buses are there, CNG autos are there. So government of Delhi NCR region or government of India has also gone for similar measures. We have also gone for relocating of industries. Bhavana industrial area, Bhavana industrial area has also been established. Then we see that there is like the rise of solar power, there is rise of wind power and all other things. It has been done by India also. So almost similar steps has been taken by India also. Almost same steps has been taken by India also. So what is the difference? What is the difference then? What is the difference then? If we talk about India, okay, we have got plethora of laws. Like when we talk about this, we have also multiple laws. We have Prevention of Control of Pollution Act, Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act, Environment Protection Act, e-waste rules, construction rules, emission standards, court, tribunal, pollution control boards. What we are not having, like when we talk about laws, we are having laws, we are having institutions. Okay, we are in fact the countries to have a special tribunal. We are having court which is quite active for pollution. We are also having various rules. So we have got all these things. We have taken all these steps with respect to pollution. We have got National Clean Air Program, Graded Response Action Program, Odd Even Program, Construction Ban, Dust Control Rules, Crop Residue Measures, Work from Home Advisories. We have also taken these steps. We have also taken these steps. We have taken a number of steps. When we talk about what's missing then, there is one part, reactive approach. We have a reactive approach with respect to pollution. We talk about pollution in the month of October, November, December. We are talking about, okay, we are talking about this like pollution. We are talking about this pollution in the month of October, November, December. After that, for the remaining 9 months, we do not even talk about pollution. We are not concerned about AQI. We are not concerned about anything. Okay. So this is one thing. This is one thing. We are not talking about pollution throughout the year. We are talking about pollution only in 2 or 3 months of the year. You will find that the editorials related to pollution are also common in the month of October, November, December. So we are having a reactive approach instead of a sustained approach. Okay. Then the factor which is missing is governance, coordination, and implementation. See how the governance, We have been talking about minimum government state level, we have the government at the district level. They all are coming with different plans for pollution, and none of them are succeeding. They are all coming with different schemes, different programs for pollution. So there is a number of institutions. There is the state pollution control boards, there is central pollution control boards, there is NGT, there is Supreme Court order, there is central government order, state government order, district level order. So there are plethora of institutions involved, and the result is zero. Why zero? There is lack of coordination. There is lack of coordination between the institutions. Everyone is trying to take the credit for themselves. Everyone just takes the credit for themselves. They are not concerned about pollution. They are concerned about like how they are going to look. Okay. Class beach mein ruk rahi. I hope now it's working fine. There might have been some interruptions in middle, but what I see in my device that it is going on properly now. Okay. So this is one part. When we are talking about China, okay, when we are talking about China, okay, so what they have done, they have taken steps which are about, all the steps from China is about the governance, coordination and implementation. China has done this one thing. Okay. So what suggestions we have? A shift from episodic responses to a long-term, sustained, mission-oriented strategy and treating air pollution as a national public health emergency. Lack of coordination नहीं समझ आया. देखो, lack of coordination means state government is acting in its own manner, central government is acting in its own manner, district level organizations, they are working in their own manner. There is a lack of coordination in their approaches with respect to pollution. There is a lack of coordination among them with respect to pollution. Okay. So that is the meaning of lack of coordination. Okay. Now, India needs to accelerate its transition from the clean energy. Okay. So what we see that when we are talking about China, especially when we are talking about Beijing, they have gone to like those sources of energy which are not dependent on coal. In case of Delhi, the small modular reactors or the Bharat small modular reactors, this can be the solution. In case of Delhi, where there is a need of continuous and sustained energy, there is an option that is Bharat small modular reactor. That is one thing Delhi needs to adopt. Then what we see, transport reforms. Transport reforms are certain things in India which are announced but not implemented. Okay. So that is one thing which we have to do. Industrial policy. Okay. So in case of Delhi, it has been suggested that many of these schemes, many of these policies, they have remained on paper. They have not been done actually on the ground. So we need to do those things on ground, not just on paper. And then finally, there is one thing, air pollution is a regional problem. Okay. Means it cannot be done just by one state or one city. In case of Delhi NCR, if you have to address the problem, you have to take in account Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan and Delhi as a regional hub for pollution. So only a Delhi based approach for tackling the pollution is not sufficient. Niti Aayog has been working for last 10 years. But Niti Aayog has not created a team, a task force or a group of the states for tackling the pollution. So Niti Aayog should come with some schemes like aspirational pollution free states scheme or pollution free district schemes. Okay. So that we have got various aspirational block program and many other things. In same manner, Niti Aayog needs to form a group of these states in order to tackle the pollution. So that is again one thing which is required. it has to be done in a regional manner instead of having just a district wise or a state wise approach. Okay. So that is one thing what Delhi needs to do differently, and we need to learn from China with respect to this pollution tackling thing. So I hope this one is clear. That what needs to be done by Delhi in order to tackle the pollution. Good evening, Chandresh. Local awareness is also needed. So now you have changed the name. So now coming to the prelims specific topics now. The first topic which we are having is about Cyprus. So Cyprus, this is a place in news. This is a place in news. We have Cyprus here. So you may be aware about this, that Indian president has visited Cyprus. Okay. Indian president has visited Cyprus. In the case of Cyprus, there you will find that it is lying in the Mediterranean Sea. It is part of European Union. This one country is part of European Union, and in this area you will find that there is a part of Cyprus which is indirectly in the control of Turkey. So Turkey is someone which is impacting Cyprus sovereignty. China is impacting the sovereignty of Cyprus. So Cyprus, since Indian Prime Minister visited there, so that's why it is there in the news. We have discussed it in the month of July also, that what is the meaning of the visit of Prime Minister to Cyprus. In the month of June we have discussed this. In June or July we have discussed about it. Okay. Then there is this one institution, G7, that is our second topic. So it is an informal group of 7 countries: US, Canada, France, Italy, Germany, Japan and UK. It has been founded in 1975 due to economic challenges and Arab oil crisis. Then Russia, it had joined in 1998 but suspended in 2014. Some of the major initiatives of this informal group of countries is Build Back Better World in 2021, FATF in 1989, Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment PGII, Climate Club, and recently GAIN. This is very much important. Remember this one part. A new initiative is there, G7 AI Network, which is also known as GAIN. So this is one of the very prominent topic, GAIN. Many a times there has been questions like this in UPSC prelims exam, where they have been asking that these institutions are initiatives of which group. So G7 has called for G7 AI Network, called as GAIN. So it is an initiative of G7. It is an initiative of G7. Okay. Now one more thing, non-permanent members of United Nations Security Council. So here what we see, that 5 non-permanent members were added to the UN Security Council. Non-permanent members. Who were they? Bahrain, Colombia, Democratic Republic of Congo, Latvia and Liberia. So these 5 countries have become the non-permanent members of UNSC for a 2-year term, which is going to start from 2026. Okay. So there are 10 non-permanent members. They have a tenure of 2 years and they are elected by the UN General Assembly. Now how much vote they need? They require at least 2/3 of the votes. 2/3 of the votes of those members who are present and voting. In order to be elected as a non-permanent member, they have to get the vote of 2/3. So is this open for everyone? That how many countries can be from one area? So there is a limit. There is a limit. From Africa, there can be a maximum of 3 countries. From Asia, 2 countries. From Latin America and Caribbean, 2 countries. From Western Europe, 2 countries. Eastern Europe, 1 countries. Okay. So in total you will find that 3 plus 6, 9 plus 1, 10. Okay. So in total 10 non-permanent members can be there, but from regional approach. 3 is from Africa, 2 from Asia, 2 from Western Europe, 1 from Eastern Europe, and 2 countries from the Latin America and Caribbean. Okay, and 5 permanent members are there. So you know about them. P5 members. Then we have US, we have UK, China, Russia, and France. So these are the 5 permanent members of United Nations Security Council, and there are 10 non-permanent members. So 5 of them have been elected in 2025. Now, do you have to revise their names for the exam purpose? It is highly unlikely that they will be asking the names of those countries which have been elected. But yes, they can ask you about the process. They can ask you about this, that is there a regional quota or not. So yes, there is a regional quota. 3 from Africa, 2 from Western Europe, 2 from Asia, 2 from Latin and Caribbean, and 1 from Eastern Europe. So from these areas, 10 non-permanent members are to be chosen, and then we have always 5 permanent members. Okay. How they are going to be elected? They are going to be elected by United Nations General Assembly by securing a minimum of 2/3 of votes of members who are present and voting. So that is the last topic for today. This is one question, and I expect that all of you will be giving the answer for this one. Okay, I expect that all of you will be giving this answer. Okay, I hope each and every topic is clear. Anjali, I could not see your question, so please post it once again. Please post it once again in today's session. That what was your question? I could not get your question in 19th. So please post it in today's session comment. I will see that. Okay. So I could not get your question there. So just post it once again. Carbon offset means to remove the carbon. To remove the carbon. Carbon offsetting means to reducing or to removing it from the environment. Okay. So that will be all for today. Thank you everyone. Take care and all the best. Thank you.